It's not like wine where you're like, oh, this terroir is giving me, blackberries and currant or whatever. No, you can actually add blackberry and currant to a beer.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool because I could apply all of my baking and pastry experience to my brewing.
Welcome to Pan Con Podcast. Nick, speak into your ball tickler.
My name is Nick Jimenez. I'm talking into a ball tickler, and you are listening to Pan Con Podcast.
I mean, it kind of matches with his beard.
A little bit. The sides of my beard are pretty gray by now, so it's like, yeah.
It's
pretty good.
I think actually if I just tied this to my chin, the whole thing would be more uniform.
I agree.
Yeah.
Then you'll be teabagged the whole time.
Man, strong start to the
This is
85th episode of Pan Con Podcast
This
here.
is easily the soonest that teabagging has come up on this show.
I think that's the first time teabagging has actually come
You're
up on the
probably
show.
right. Yeah. Even with Mike Ortiz, we didn't talk teabags.
No, of course we talk teabags, but not that kind of teabag.
No, he's a loose tea man.
He is a loose teabag. We don't talk about competing podcasts, by the way. All right?
Oh man,
we don't do that.
You're right. We are our only competition. So, I'm joined as usual by 8th grade basketball MVP and James
Trent.
Beard's semifinalist, Chili champion.
That's such a bad term. It's like, man, congratulations for being like the 10th best, right? Like the
No,
semifinalist,
man, no, they're not the 10th best. Come
top
on.
15.
Don't sell yourself short
That's
here.
cool. We all
Come
got
on,
a
man.
participation trophy.
Well, you're a rising star. You're
I was a
star
rising
chef's
star.
Rising star.
That's nice.
Which is a little bit like being a semifinalist. Like, you're still rising. You haven't quite gotten there.
Wow.
Man, Nick,
Coño,
fuck
te
me.
está tirando.
And
Bien
that's a
fuerte.
wrap here for Pan Con Podcast. I'm
We're
going to go
just gonna
fuck myself
rub the
now.
brownies.
Thanks,
No,
everybody.
I kid. You're a star in my heart, Mike.
Fuck off. God.
And we are here. Yeah, if we're going to talk all this time about my ball tickler, I got to give you a little something.
That's cool.
Yeah, well. And we are with, I'm trying to think of how many, you are maybe only our second brewer guest, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
Falco?
I guess Falco.
I'm saying Falco. I mean like people who actually brew.
Oh.
Yeah, Falco, I guess.
So I'm not counting Manny,
No.
right? Manny is a brewery owner, but
Yeah.
people who make beer.
Yeah.
Although Falco will say that he's no longer a brewer.
You're definitely the coolest one, though. Falco does
Easily.
not fucking count
No.
at all whatsoever.
Falco didn't even want to be here.
He didn't want to be here.
Okay.
The person we're talking to is María Cabré of J. Wakefield. There's a brewery here that I believe made a beer with Mike's likeness on it. Is that right?
That is true.
That's where that came from?
Yes.
You made a beer with my face on it.
I did.
Man, I can't thank you enough for that.
Yeah. That's an incredible decision to make. A bold choice.
That was fun.
This guy is so confused. Like, what's happening? Just kidding.
Seen you?
No. So,
Should we make a game of this? Like every time he walks
my
by, we
God.
confuse him somehow?
everyone just silently stare. Right?
We were going to be confused listening to the start of this podcast.
Every
man,
time he
you know,
comes
like,
by,
I
everybody
actually
stops
thought
what
about
they're
it.
doing.
It's such a high traffic area you chose here for this.
Well, you know what? That's part of the excitement.
Okay.
I mean, we're usually only like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't get interruptions.
Are we
otherwise.
actually going to talk to Maria, or are we just going to keep on talking about how bad we are at this?
The fact that you're the one asking to keep this on track is...
Shocking.
Yeah.
Wild.
I know.
Yeah, let me step away here. Mike, take over. I don't know. I'm clearly a disaster.
Oh, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's late. It's like past my... I told Nick, I was like, really?
Yeah,
Past
no.
9
it's-
p.m.?
Yeah, 9. What
I'm
time do you go to
yeah.
What time do you go to bed?
Like 9:30.
Why? I know you have a kid, and I'm sure brewing is an early job, or no?
Yeah, it's an early job. Although most of my job now consists of sitting on a computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I have a brewer now, and my body can't really take
Oh, yeah.
mashing in anymore
Right.
as much. I do it every once in a while, when they need me, and I always try to be the best support system that I can for my team. But yeah, I don't brew as much as I used to.
Can I tell you, before we get into your story and the evolution and all the things, the beer that we made, that was a very cool experience for me.
Yeah.
Not like a huge beer drinker. I do drink beer, but it's not like, I just drink Negronis. Like, that's always my go-to. So, it was cool, and the beer was delicious, and it was like cool. The can was dope, and the whole thing. I thought it was cool, and people really enjoyed it here.
I love that we use guarapo. Because
Yeah.
guarapo...
So
the-
underutilized.
The only other time that we used it was in a stout, and it gave it such like an earthy flavor that I wanted to see it in a different kind of style and profile. And I think it worked really well with the IPA.
So ours was an IPA. I don't even totally remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was Guarapo and there was some other things in there? I just remember the resounding thing was Guarapo was the thing we
No,
kept
it was
talking about.
guarapo and then the IPA. So the hops played well with the guarapo.
For our friends in Salina, Kansas that have no fucking clue what Guarapo is.
All the fans.
Yeah,
in Kansas.
all 22 of them. Guarapo is sugarcane juice. It's a very big thing here in Miami.
Yeah.
I grew up drinking it. If you were to go to YouTube, and I'm sure Nick can give you a reference of a YouTube video to watch of making sugarcane juice, basically it's
Come on, I'll get the research department on it.
nice work. It's this weird, like, pressing, just stalks, put it into this press, the wheels turn, you pass it through a couple times, and juice comes out.
Squeezes it out, yeah.
And it's the sweetest, most earthy, delicious drink ever.
Yeah, and I remember at La Carreta, they used to give it to you with very few ice cubes because they didn't want you to water it down. They used to sell it at La Carreta.
Well, I mean, that's actually very nice because now people will put more ice in it because they want to give you less juice because it's such a pain in the ass to do.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I don't remember how much Guarapo we bought for that, but it was a substantial amount.
Yeah.
So, how did you end up brewing beer? Tell me the whole story. When did it start? Did you drink beer at like 5 and you loved it and you're like, I want to do this forever? Or
No.
what was the story?
I actually, before brewing, I did pastry for about 8 years.
I knew that.
Yeah. And baking and brewing go hand in hand. They're both science. They're both exact. You know, if you screw it up, you kind of...
Fuck the whole thing up.
Yeah. You can't really just go back and fix a beer like that.
Right.
So I was working at the Fontainebleau. I wanted more of a day job because I wanted to see my kid at normal hours. And I met John through a mutual friend. John is Jay Wakefield.
Right. John Wakefield.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And we met through a mutual friend, and I had just started drinking what I thought of as craft beer, like
What was that?
so Weinstefaner, which
Ooh.
is the oldest
Bless
brewery in the world. Yeah, thank you. They have a lager and they have a Hefeweizen, which is a German style wheat beer. And I started drinking that, and then little by little, I got really into wheat beers. And then I met John, and John was like, well, my brewery isn't open yet, but he would like give me cases of different beers. And he'd be like, here, try this, try this, try this. So my palate...
What year are we talking here?
2014.
Let's go back. This is so soon. We're moving so fast.
Okay.
Let's go back to pastry chef. You were a pastry chef for 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, where'd you go to... Born and raised in Miami?
Born and raised in Miami.
Oh, I love you. What high school did you go to?
Coral Reef.
Ooh, Coral Reef.
And I went to middle school right here, actually.
Which one?
G.W. Carver Middle School.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
The Reef. The Reef. So, from the Reef, when did you decide you wanted to be a pastry chef?
Well, I knew when I was like 8 or 9 that
Oh,
I
that's
wanted to
nice.
be in a kitchen. They
Yeah.
took us to Johnson and Wales, and they did one of these demos with the
Yeah.
big mirror and the flambe and
Yeah,
all
they
this
made
stuff.
it look very extravagant.
Super nice,
Yeah.
you know? But
This is
was
so nice. I
before
wanna do this
Food Network.
forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And make no money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my feet hurt every night, and my body hurts.
Beautiful.
Yeah, wonderful.
God, I want to make that beautiful panna cotta.
So my
Sorry.
mom was like, no way, you're not going to culinary school
Right.
or pastry school. So I went to FIU for a while, and I don't like school, so that didn't work out.
Amen to you.
I went to DADE for a while, and then
The
I was
Sharks.
like, yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to work full time right now. And then at like 22, I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay for it myself. I don't care, but I need to go to pastry school because I don't
Yeah.
know shit. And I'm not just going to walk into a kitchen and be like, hey, which I probably should have done in hindsight.
Hindsight is 2020, right? But I say that all the time. Like,
Right.
I went to that small program for school. I think about it like, I wish I would have just gone to work in like great kitchens. I
Yeah.
probably would have learned more. But I did. The school, that program that I went to was pretty good.
Yeah. So I had a great experience at Johnson & Wales.
Good for you.
Yo era una de las más viejas. I was one of the oldest people there. Everyone else was like
I love how you went
18.
Spanish, and then for our Salina people, you went English.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's because there's gonna be a lot of Spanglish. So while I was there, my second year, I went to this job fair that the school has, and I saw the Biltmore. And to me, like growing up Miami,
Right.
the Biltmore is iconic.
Golfing and rich people.
I mean, but the building, you know,
Yeah,
the history
I know.
behind it,
The 13th
everything.
floor doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. So I walked up to the table, and it was Chef Rowley, who I don't know where he is now, actually. Last time I knew he was at that little Palm Island, that super rich island in the Keys.
Yep.
Anyway, and he was like, I'll set up an interview with our restaurant chef. So I met Philippe, and I didn't know shit about desserts, but I speak French.
Oh, yeah?
So French to a
How
French
did
chef.
How did that happen?
I went to magnet schools. My parents couldn't afford private school. And they were like, we're going to stick you kids in a good educational program. So I
you
learned
learned French
from 8 years old till senior year.
Wild.
Yeah.
I know nothing of French.
Okay.
Just their food.
That's fine. You speak 2 languages. It's great.
Yeah, I know. I'm good.
So I met Philippe, and I started speaking French because I was like, how am I going to impress this guy? So I just started going off, and he was like, oh, you speak French? You know? So I got the job.
That's so good. Oui. Oh, you know French. Oh, you're hired, huh? You must know what you're talking about. Ah, it's crazy.
Basically. I didn't know shit. I only knew what I had learned in school, which obviously you can apply it, but experience is what's really going to get you
Repetition.
to be a great chef or
Repetition.
great at whatever
Repetition,
you're going to
yeah.
be. Yeah. So I remember my first dinner service that was a prefix menu. And all the desserts came in at once.
Oh, yeah. How many people?
I don't know. The dining room there is probably 85, 86.
Woo.
And they're like, fire all these desserts. And all the other cooks are watching me as I'm sinking. I'm going down. Philippe is like,
But
what
they're
the
just-
fuck?
They're just watching you? They're not jumping in and helping?
I was the new chick.
Losers.
And I was the only chick.
Oh,
So Philippe
gross.
is like, what the fuck? You're going too fucking slow. Mind you, I'm like sobbing at this point, but I'm doing my canals, I'm plating, I'm doing everything I can. Finally, my husband, who was not my husband at the time, jumps in and starts helping me.
This is why he has the husband card.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So, yeah, after that, I mean, it was history. We moved to New York. I worked at a 1-star Michelin restaurant in New York, which was
Good for
really
you.
cool.
Which one?
The Modern
Okay.
at the MoMA,
Yeah.
which is now 2 stars, by the way. But
Good
I
for them.
worked under Gabriel Cruther, who now has the restaurant Gabriel.
Yeah.
And then I worked at Amy's Bread, which was awesome because I got that bakery experience, which down here at the time, that was 2009, I didn't, like, there weren't really bakeries like that.
Not
There
like
was-
that one.
There was, a ton of Cuban bakeries.
Well, Amy's Bread is what it's called?
Uh-huh.
They're pretty big now, right?
They have 3 locations, and then they have, I think in Jersey is where they have their production now.
Right.
At the time, we were doing, I worked in Hell's Kitchen, and she had Hell's Kitchen, and she had that market on the west side. I forgot the name of it. There's like a big, like, kind of food thing.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
Right.
Anyway, so Hell's Kitchen did all the breakfast pastries. So I worked the overnight shift, which was the first time for that too.
Great.
So 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. But it was so cool because I got to bring home all the warm bread and all like the biscuits and everything else. So it was a great experience. And I came back here, and again, the only bakery that was around was Misha's. So I worked for Misha's for about 2 years.
Wow.
And then I needed to make more money. So I went to the Fontainebleau, and I worked as a concierge. This is where my French comes in again, because that's literally what got me the job.
Wow, what a jump from like working at Amy's to Misha's, then to
Front of the house. I will never work front of the house ever again
it's
in
the
my
worst,
entire
right?
existence.
God, it's so rough. It's so rough.
It's really tough.
Oh God,
Dealing with people is
the worst.
the worst.
I don't want that as an option in my
No.
life. I just don't. Don't look. You're doing great, chef. I love it. It's your face right now. It's the best part.
His eyes. You
Yeah,
can't
he's
see
just
the rest
like,
of his
I'm
face.
sorry, I have to make all this noise. I mean, my front of the house experience was younger. I was like, 18, 19, 20. and it was just like dreadful. I was a server at an Applebee's.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of like nowhere, Virginia, but it was so rough.
Virginia. ¿Qué hace un cubano in Virginia?
I still don't know what I spent 4 years there doing, but I played football, and that's why.
Okay, I got it.
That's why I was there. But the experience was extremely important to long term for me.
Yeah.
So, as much as I would never work in the front of the house now, and it's like, even now as an owner, like I'm not the chef that does like table touches and I'm not that. I still like, it's good experience, but I just don't. I'd rather not do it.
It's not for me.
I just rather not. Look at this guy with the glass.
Oh,
Now you are amazing. What service? What service? So, all right, concierge then.
Concierge. I did it for about 4 years, and then I felt like I could not deal with people who thought that just because they were staying at the Fontainebleau that they were better than you.
Oh man,
it was terrible. So within the last year that I was at the Fontainebleau, that's when I met John, and that's when I got started. So I was working full time at the Fontainebleau and going to John's house so he could teach me how to homebrew.
Oh yeah.
So I was working doubles essentially, Brewing is a lot of sanitation and washing and cleaning and doing it all over again. And then the 5% is like the cool stuff you see on Instagram.
Right.
That's really dope. But I loved it. And I loved the fact that I could work during the day. And I started appreciating how beer could have a different flavor than just from the malts. So, it's not like wine where you're like, oh, this terroir is giving me, blackberries and currant or whatever. No, you can actually add blackberry and currant to a beer.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool because I could apply all of my baking and pastry experience to my brewing. Right. So when we finally opened, I started at the bottom. I started washing kegs, which is like washing dishes at a restaurant. It's the same thing, You're loading them on, and at the time we had a manual one, so you had to pay attention because there's certain there's steps to everything, and if you skip a step, then your keg's not sanitary, and you can't put beer in an unsanitary keg. Right. So yeah, I started there, and then one day John's like, "You want to learn how to brew on a big system?" And I was like, "Sure." I always like learning as much as I can. And I always like taking initiative as far as, if someone's not doing something, I'm going to do it because it needs to get done either way.
Right, and that happens a lot.
Yes.
People not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm aware.
So now I'm here.
But where is here?
Well, currently I'm at your restaurant.
No, but you know what I mean.
Here,
figuratively in life.
I run the brewery operations, but I also do the distribution for the brewery. We distribute in multiple states. Not in Kansas yet, guys.
Kansas, we're coming for you.
We're coming.
Yeah, sorry.
I do, I handle a lot of the day-to-day, everything that goes into running a brewery. And then, sometimes if we have double brews, I'll jump on the first shift, and then my brewer, Theo, he's the lead brewer. He'll jump on the second one. I try to give them as much support, like I said before, because it's important that they know that you're there.
Obviously you've been here for a while. You've been doing this for a while. How important do you think J. Wakefield is in the landscape of Miami beer? Because Miami beer has taken it's a big change in the last decade, yeah?
Yeah. J. Wakefield, we weren't the first, but...
Who was the first again?
Winwood.
Yeah, that's right.
But I feel as though John had this exposure before he opened the brewery that the ones that opened either right around the same time that we did or before we did, they didn't have that kind of exposure.
Right.
So, John got blown up because of his beers and the stage that they were on at the time. So Cigar City, he's good friends with the, not owner anymore, but was the owner. And they brought his beer to their biggest festival, and everyone was freaking out. It was a fuchsia colored beer, which was sour, and it had dragon fruit and passion fruit, and it's super thirst quenching, and it's beautiful to look at, and it was a very well made beer. So that's what got him all this notoriety before we even opened.
Oh yeah.
So to that effect, we were already known, and people were like wanting us to open. But then I'm really glad that we have all these other breweries popping up, because it's important that Miami is known for a food and beverage scene. We're always 5 years behind. We're always behind New York. Like, why do we need to be behind them? Why are we so late to the party?
We are no longer behind anybody.
I know. But that's been recent. That's
Right.
because of chefs like you. You know what I mean? That are trying to change the way that Miamians think and feel when it comes to food, when it comes to beverage, when it comes to the art of it.
It's tough though, because
Oh, I know.
like, we're such a transient city,
I
And
know.
there's so many people that are in and out, and like actual people that are born and raised here, like from here. It's tough. There's not a lot. When you really look at it, like when you go out and you talk to people, it's like, I'm from here, I'm from there.
Right.
Rarely do you get I'm from Miami. So
I have a question that I'll throw in here.
go on, Nick.
Sorry, but so you came into beer roughly at a time that Miami was going through in beer what you might argue is going through now with food, no? What would you say, in the sense that people, a craft beer culture was beginning to develop
Right.
in Miami,
Uh-huh.
and an appreciation of beer and all the rest? Given that you've had a foot in both worlds, or at different times both feet in each world, is there something that you think that the food industry in Miami, the restaurant business in Miami, has to learn from the beer industry in Miami?
No, I think it's the people. The people that are consuming the food and consuming the beer. We still get a ton of, especially in the area that we're in, dame lo que se parezca a una Heineken. O dame, a shot of tequila and a Corona. And we're like, yo, it says brew, like massive in big lines and letters, brewery on our wall. So I really think it's the way that people kind of approach to being more open. I remember for a tasting once, I did a green tea dessert when I worked at Pam d'Or, and it didn't sell. But if I did anything with mango, guayaba,
Oh yeah.
passion fruit, it disappeared. I did that same green tea dessert in New York, and it flew.
Flew off. Yeah.
Flew. So it's a matter of maybe not looking at something and saying, ugh, no lo conozco, I don't,
That
I've never
means
seen
I
it.
don't know that.
I've never seen it. I've never looked, and it looks unappetizing to me, so I'm not going to try it.
But even along those lines, like, I guess what I mean, because of course it has a lot to do with the consumers, but is there something that restaurants can learn from the experience that so many breweries have already gone through about educating those consumers, addressing that lack of knowledge or familiarity?
I
or
gotta
comfort?
say, the term educating the consumer is tough. It's like,
Right.
it's so, I've thought about that so often
Sure.
in the last 5 years, because when we opened, I was like, I don't want to have to educate people. I just want to share
Your
what we
food.
know.
Yeah.
And because educating them makes, some people want to be educated about food, but some other people want to feel like they know everything, right? So when you get to that point of education, it's almost feels like a chore at times.
Well, I don't mean, I just, not so much in terms of but you want them to, over time engaging with and drinking your beer or eating your food, learn. Whether it's because you took the approach of lecturing them very deliberately,
Sure.
or just by exposure, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, it's like the person who says, dame algo que se parezca a un Heineken, is not saying, I'll only drink Heineken. So
Right.
there's an opening.
So there's an opening, correct. So we try to have our bartenders be as open and kind of welcoming, because sometimes it can come off as very oh, you don't know what this is? You don't know what this style is? You've never heard of a Berliner Weiss? And a ton of people haven't heard of a Berliner Weiss. It's just,
Yeah, no,
not
a
a
ton.
typical style, you know?
Right.
So if your people are willing to, and that's why the front of the house is so important. I know
experience.
that we clash because, front of the house and back of the house always clashes, but you have to make that experience. And I think more so now, I think people are looking for this experience constantly.
For sure.
So they can Instagram it, so they can whatever they do, So it's a matter of, I think, building that experience for them.
Yeah. Instagramming it.
Instagramming.
I know.
I love it, but I hate it. It's a love-hate.
I hate all of it. But it's a necessary evil. It's all the way that you approach it and like how you want to use it as your business and the Instagram people. And I don't want to like dive back into that because I'm obviously like, it's like just word vomit for me at this point. Just like how much I don't like that faction of the world. But
we get those messages all the time too, by the way.
I'm sure you do. Like, let's collaborate.
Can you send us beer?
No, we can't.
We'll review your beer.
Fuck you and your review. Anyways, that's what I got here with that. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the educational portion, like, I feel more confident with, like, Pam, come on, Pam. It's totally fine. See? It's very sweet.
She's so cute.
Yeah. It's more about, like, building the experience for them. So, within the experience, you can educate them. But you don't want it to feel like school. I hate school. I hated school. I was so bad at school. I don't want people to feel like they're at school.
Right.
Like, when I went to go eat at Alinea, I felt like I was kind of at school. Like, it was very, like, structured and, like, framed. And every single, which is that style of dining. But it's like, everything there was a thought before a thought about a thought for a thing. And then they did it for a reason. And then they told you why they did it. And it's like, okay, I'm in class right now. And I want to feel more like we're building an experience of enjoyment.
Yeah.
And
where you have a great time. You had a great meal.
Right.
Great time. The drinks were great.
Right.
The company was good. The ambiance in the restaurant was awesome.
It's live.
Yeah.
Everything is alive. Everything is good,
Yeah.
That's really more like, I feel like you can fit education with that experience, like, I don't know. It's tough. I think it's tougher that way.
I will say, I came to your restaurant for the first time that day that I came to brunch with my girlfriends.
Okay.
You have the best playlists. Do you curate
Every single one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Every single song.
Because you got like the old school hip hop, but then you have Periódico de Ayer.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Héctor
It's a little bit
Lavoe,
of it's a little bit of all that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
That's part of the experience.
right. And then when people complain about it, because they do complain, we got 2 complaints this week that the music was too racy.
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 Were there kids here?
There was kids here.
Oh, God forbid.
I know it was
Because
too,
WAP isn't on the radio, right?
right. It was too racy, and what was the other one? They actually left. They went next door because there's no hip hop on the playlist next door on purpose. But like we play hip hop, we play everything because this is what I listen to.
Right.
So the idea was, it's like you're hanging out at my house. So the music is going to reflect that.
It's what you would play at home if you're cooking for some friends.
It is what I play at home. When people hang out with me, like, and they get in my car, they're like, "Is this the area playlist?" I'm like, "No, but it's on there. It's like a variation of that, So I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both, Nick, as you snap away.
As you
I'm snapping.
And
You're
you don't have your
snapping.
hairy ball thing. I don't know what that's called
Where's
anymore.
your ball tickler?
Over here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's wanting to educate people and trying to bring them to that. But then for us, what we've seen is that people's palates change. They start consuming and they'll consume one style of beer and then they're like, "Oh, I don't really like that," and then they go to a different style of beer. Like I have people that walked in that love IPAs, right? And then they're regulars and they drink IPAs, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I really like stouts now." So they're kind of on a stout kick. And I feel like your palate's constantly changing and evolving. And the more that you try food, whatever, the more your palate will evolve and the more refined of a palate you'll have.
So it's been quite a career. It's like a lot of weird shift changes, concierge, pastry chef, brewer.
I'm very adaptable.
I can see that. What are some of the highlights that stick out?
I mean, doing what I do now is awesome. Like, it's really freaking cool. I've met a lot of people that I probably would have never met if it weren't for this job. I've traveled to places that I might not have traveled before. I've been educated by one of the best. John is one of the best brewers that I know. He may not really brew now physically, but he makes the recipes. He is the executive chef. He is the one that runs that. I mean, highlights of cooking have been, I cooked for Hugh Jackman once at the Modern, which was dope. And I cooked for 007, what's his name? Daniel Craig.
Oh, Daniel Craig.
Stuff like that is really cool to me. The dinners that we've done at the Biltmore, we did a dinner once, and it was like this all, it was all like Cristal, or I don't know what freaking brand of champagne, but stuff like that really kind of gets you to have these experiences. I think that sometimes people take for granted, and that's stuff that I find that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then meeting people like you, other people that have those shared interests, that have gone through that road of, you didn't just wake up and own your own restaurant.
Oh, no.
You had a long road ahead of you, and I'm sure that you're still learning. And I still learn every single day. My brewer teaches me stuff. Not all the time. He mansplains a lot, too. I have to tell him.
Mansplaining. Nick, you have any comments?
On mansplaining?
Yeah.
Does he not like that term?
No,
I don't know.
I don't have comments, but I do have a brewery-related mansplaining situation that's playing out as we speak.
Really?
So that post from the video from Strange Beast of Falco dressed as a woman, I had shared the video with like a little joke about how I thought Falco was above this, but I guess, sex sells. The joke being, like as if I was taking the thing very seriously, And so Falco reshares it and like apparently gets a bunch of comments about what an asshole I am for criticizing.
Wait, somebody called you an asshole? I am fucking shocked.
I don't know that they called me an asshole.
Somebody called you a fucking asshole?
I don't know that they used asshole, but they may very well have. But apparently now there's like this circular mansplain happening where they're explaining in one direction how the thing was inappropriate, and then Falco having to explain the joke to them. And there's a lot of mansplaining happening right now about Falco dressed as a woman.
The internet is a double-edged sword. Gosh darn it. I really want to curse right now, but I'm...
Do it.
Why not?
Well, I think you already have.
I don't own the brewery.
Is this a kid's show?
No, it's not a kid's show. I mean...
Maybe we'd have higher ratings.
John hears me curse all the time, but I don't know. Maybe his partner doesn't, so...
Oh, yeah?
Anyway.
We curse a lot.
I do too. And I started cursing in the kitchen, and I remember coming home one day and my mom was like, "Tú estás hablando tan feo ahora." And I was like, "Mom, I work in the kitchen with a bunch of men."
Yeah. They're all assholes.
How do you think I'm going to speak?
They're all assholes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a joke. If you find I don't know. Don't get me started on that, because I can't, but...
The internet is a place of these rabbit holes. Like food, like the reviews and the things. If you start feeding into all of those machines, you're going to lose your mind. I lose my mind enough about so many things.
Me too.
That have so much more worth to me, like where I had literally a 45-minute conversation with the guy who is building my kitchens with me about where a trash can goes. And I feel like that's so much more pivotal than a review.
Yeah. Well, a poorly placed trash bin.
can could fuck everything up.
Yo, it's in the way of like the
No,
line
but it's
and
got to
the-
be like you got to do the stainless and the hole on the
Yeah,
top
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
I
door
got
and the
it.
thing, and then it's got to be high enough that you could fit the little roller
I get it.
underneath it, and then you got to roll it out, and he was like, "Man, you are nuts," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm nuts. I don't care, but it's right though. This is the right way to do things. It's those. I want to go down that rabbit hole where the trash can goes.
Yeah.
Not really like
oh, your
people.
food was supposed to be medium, and it was 100-something degrees, and that's not medium. I can't believe it.
Oh man, that's
Come on,
that's
dude.
extensive. It's more about like there's lots of people that have comments about my bean videos, right? Which is great. I like that people actually watch those stupid ass bean videos.
It's
but
crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Even months later, we have comments on these bean videos. But I stand by everything I said in those bean videos. Beans sucked, and then beans were good.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Which was your favorite bean?
I don't remember. What was my favorite bean? You remember?
Kirby.
Kirby. The Kirby beans were good. Out of a
Those are
can.
the ones I buy.
Yeah, out of a can. You see, right? Because they're good.
If I'm, pressed for time and I want to make, like tonight, I made picadillo, I made rice.
Are you gonna bring any for the fam? Like,
I mean,
what's up?
wait, I'm coming to a kitchen, not just one kitchen. I'm sure you have multiple kitchens in
We
here.
have 4 here. Yeah.
Ajá,
There's
entonces.
4.
Y aquí no hay ni un frijol.
But yeah, I'm Cuban by association, I think. Living in Miami.
Where's your family from?
My mother is Puerto Rican.
Oh, Boricua.
Yes. And my father was born in Barcelona. He lived there till he was about 15. And then went on this journey on a boat to Venezuela.
Good for him. That's a life. I want to know more about that life. That's
My
a good
dad
life.
had a very interesting
Sounds
life.
like he has like stories.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. My grandfather did too. I never met him, but he went through the Second World War and the Spanish Civil War. So the stories that he would tell my dad, pretty incredible.
So let me ask you. I actually got one of those Instagram notifications, like someone's like reposting a thing from a year ago, and it was a post of a year ago today. Somebody I'm sure we both know, Caesar, Big Caesar. He's like 7 feet tall. Him and his kid were eating peanut butter and jellies out of a peanut butter and jelly kit that we had made at Chugs,
Right.
because we were, I don't know,
In a pandemic.
three weeks into a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took me down this like memory lane of shit that I'd rather forget.
Me too.
So what was this like for you guys on your end?
It sucked.
Yeah,
It was
so
really bad.
So bad.
It was really bad. We had just. I will say this. Thank God that it happened in mid-March, mid to whatever, late March versus February, because we had the Super Bowl here, which was huge for everyone. I think it brought in a ton of tourism for the city of Miami, which was wonderful, right?
Right.
And then right after that, we had our annual festival, Wakefest.
Right. Didn't we cook for that?
Yes.
We did. We
Yeah,
did. We
you
cooked
did
for that.
the VIP. Yeah.
Yeah. Fritas.
Yes. And we were able to have this amazing festival. It was awesome. Everyone was here for it. We had a great time. We partied, whatever. Then this hits, and it's like, yo, hit the brakes. Like, we ain't going nowhere,
Right.
And then we start getting word, oh, you guys can open May 27th, May 27th,
Oh,
May
shit,
27th.
that's right. I remember talking to John about that.
Yeah. And we opened 2 hours in. City of Miami comes in, fire, and shuts us down.
Same thing. They did the same at Taurus.
And they're like, you're a pub. And I was like, do we look like a pub to you? We're a production facility that happens to have a bar.
Right.
And we had all the signs. Like, we invested in all this stuff just to be shut down until I think it was July. So we were trying to do online sales. And it was, it was good for a while. And we had some of the guys delivering. We basically had to lay off all the bartenders. But at the same time, Florida is a 3-tier state, which means that we sell to the distributor and the distributor sells to the accounts.
Right.
During a pandemic, what accounts are open?
Right.
So keg sales disappeared. We had to move the format to all cans.
Right.
And we were canning. I mean, if you look at production logs, it was all canning, all canning, all canning, all canning, just to keep us alive. And then finally, we started getting states like North Carolina that were like, hey, we're reopening, so we'll buy, and they started buying up product. Or places like Boston that weren't open, but they have a lot of... Boston is a very beer-driven city.
Right.
So they have a lot of bottle shops. They have a lot of craft beer shops and stuff like that. So we could send our product there. If it weren't for that market, I don't know where we'd be. I don't know. It was very scary.
Yeah. I mean, it was I remember looking at that picture today, making these peanut butter jelly kits with like bread that we made and peanut butter that we made and jelly that we made. And I'm just like, man, that was only a year. I still have a hard time fathoming that it was a year ago.
Right. It feels like forever ago.
Feels like a million years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so much has happened so quickly. And I think that's why, I don't think that we're like callous, but we're just like programmed to just like, what's next?
Go,
like,
go. Yeah.
What's next? What's next? And this is why I say like the mental, emotional impact of this will take course over the next few years. It won't be right away.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter was isolating, and it was very difficult to just like, all right, this decision that I'm making to send her back to school, is it the right thing? You feel like shit as a parent. There's so many things that kind of run through
How
your
old is she?
mind. She's 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But she doesn't have siblings.
Right.
She wasn't really seeing her cousins.
Right.
She wasn't really seeing friends. So it's a kid by herself all the time.
I know my niece was like at that age. We were starting to see like serious changes in her. She was 3 turning 4.
Yeah.
And then
they can't see facial cues with the masks on. Like
right,
there's so many things.
Well, just not that she regressed. She just stopped.
Yeah.
Like
she paused.
You were starting to see like evolution in a human because of interaction,
right.
And then it just kind of like stopped.
Yeah.
And then school started again, and then you started to see it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just saw her today because my sister, it was her birthday today. So it was just like now you start to see like she's interacting with people again. Like she's interacting with humans.
It's crazy.
Willie, why are you making life so difficult? Just walk right through the thing, man. You're totally fine. Totally fine, Will.
Don't say sorry after.
You're doing a great job.
You're doing your job.
Forget us.
I miss the garden, so this is nice.
Oh, man. So, I don't know. I probably looked at that picture like 10 times today. Because I was just like, man. It was like fight or flight.
Yeah.
A year ago now.
Yeah.
What is it, March 25th?
Yeah.
24th. It's Mercy's birthday. So, March 24th, just like literally a couple weeks after it closed.
Wow.
And it was like, yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks. It's going to be 2 weeks.
And we still don't know when we're going to fully reopen.
Well, no. The
or
truth,
normalcy.
the truth is that like fully reopened, but there's parts of the country that are still fucking closed, bro.
I know, dude.
Like still closed.
I know, California, New York.
I talked to a friend of mine that's in Colorado, I think, and he's just like, yeah, it's like I walk my dog at 8:00 at night. People are yelling at me to go back into my house. I'm like, what the fuck? Like he's a Miami Cuiche, like 100%.
Yeah.
And he starts cursing people out in Spanish. I'm like, Lenny, they don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
He's like, I know, but still, I want them to know. Tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just a very weird dynamic. Like we're in a bubble here.
Yeah.
Like as much as we're quote unquote struggling because we can't open past 12, it's still like we're in still much better shape than a lot of places in the country.
Definitely. I know that.
Lucky.
Yeah.
So I feel like fortunate. Obviously, restaurants have it different than like bars. We have 2 bars, so I feel it there. But a restaurant opening after 12 isn't really a restaurant, anyways.
Right.
It's a different thing.
Right.
So let's talk about So you mentioned it a couple times, so I'll just double down on it. Being a woman in your industry.
Oh, did I mention it?
You did. Just like very subliminally,
Nonchalantly.
You were blaming men for the fact that you curse in front of your grandmother.
And my mother.
Wow.
My mother.
Sorry.
You mentioned the word mansplaining.
That's true.
Okay. So that was subliminal. All right.
It's not subliminal. It's just like you mentioned it. So I want to know more about. like me personally, I don't. There's certain things about me. I don't see
sex.
here. I'm gonna double down. I don't see sex. I don't see race. I don't see anything. You're a good human. You're a good person. You do a good job.
You work your ass off.
That's what matters to me. You
Yeah.
can be an alien. That's
I don't give
all
a
that
shit.
matters to me. So when I hear of, like, and obviously I don't live that life, so I don't understand it. When I hear those things, it doesn't make sense. Like 75% of my management staff across both kitchens and front of the house are all women, and all of different races and cultures and whatever. To me, I don't see it. Right. So when I hear that there's difficulties and there's, I just don't understand why.
Right.
And I think it's such a dumb, weird, like stupid way to think that when people tell me that it's an issue, it's like, what? I don't understand the thought process behind it, right? I also was raised by 3 women.
I was gonna ask you, who were you raised by?
3 women.
Okay.
I would, if you wanted to count my sister and my cousin as like being like the women in the family that all like, there's 5 all day that carry like, they are the ones, my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my cousin, my sister, like, they're all.
Yeah, you were surrounded by women.
Right.
And I'm sure they were strong women.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's to say the least.
Yeah.
So maybe it was because of my upbringing that I see like a female figure as like, doesn't matter what you do. You like my grandmother to me, when I look for business sense, like my grandmother ran a business from nothing to something for 25 years.
Right.
So to me, it doesn't matter what gender you are, what color you are, what race you are. Like, you're good people. You do good work. You work hard. Doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
So what's it like in your industry for a woman?
My personal experience has been great. I'll be honest. It has been wonderful. The fact that John took on someone that had no idea how to brew and basically took me and, with his help, made me to what I am is huge,
Right.
and he's been called, things because of labels we've done in the past and stuff like that. And
Wait. Tell me, what does that mean?
So, he's into comic books. You've been into the tap room.
Yeah.
He's huge into comic books.
For
He's
sure.
huge into Marvel,
love that.
DC, all this stuff.
Star Wars.
So we have a
Even though Star Trek is better, it's fine.
Oh,
I'll let it
God.
slide.
Please, no.
Sorry.
It's good. So we have a local artist. He is a comic book artist, Jose Verisi.
Oh, I don't know.
And he paints, like, he draws us all. He's drawn me, a bunch of times, but he used to draw different women as comic book characters. And some of them were voluptuous. And a lot of people took offense to that.
Oh, yeah?
So to me, I'm like, well, I work for this guy. I've known this guy for X amount of years. He's not a misogynist. He's not sexist.
Oh, people were calling him a sexist because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
It was crazy.
I don't know. Like, I know John, just from like we've never hung out and had a beer. I don't mean that.
Yeah, you've talked to him enough
in
times.
the same circles. We have the same boxing coach.
Right.
Like, the whole thing. I don't know. He's like just a straightforward, like, cool dude. Nothing about it. Come all the way through. All the way through.
So, for me, I've had the most support and push from our close male friends in this industry. They've really pushed me along.
That's great.
And they've believed in me, and they've reinforced when I've ever doubted myself. I'm good, thank you. When I've ever doubted myself, which I think is very important. And then on the women's side, sometimes I've been excluded. So I'm just like, okay, we want equality, right? But we're not even welcoming our own women.
Can you give me an example just so I understand?
I don't know if I want to talk about this publicly.
You don't have to name names. I'll name the names. Just say the situation.
No, it's just a situation where I was approached at a festival that was female driven or is female driven, and I
Okay.
was told that it was not their fault that I was excluded from a certain women's brew day. But like,
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
yo, like, I mean, I'm not saying like I'm a big thing, but like, yo, if you're in the beer industry here, you kind of know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to boast or anything, but like, yo, holler at your girl. Be like, hey, we're having a women's brew
Such
day.
a Miami term. Holla at your girl.
Holler at your girl. We're having a women's brew day. We'd love for you to come through.
Why do you think they didn't?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't need.
I know you don't care, but I'm just asking the question. Why do you think they
I
didn't?
don't know. I don't know. I've never. You know, when someone approaches me, I've become a lot more like introverted and
Speaking
somewhat
of female managers,
shy. Hi, female manager.
her name is.
She's just a manager, okay?
her
You
name
don't
is
see
Ashley. Her name
sex.
We're speaking of female managers. That's one of them.
See, so that's one of the things when people are like, "Oh, female brewer," I'm like, I am a brewer, okay? And I've seen dudes that come up to the brew house that cannot do what I do or have done. So to me, it's like what you say: either you can do it or you can't.
I wonder whether in beer, like my experience before I quit my job as COVID hit, was in cigars. So I covered the cigar industry at a cigar magazine for like 7 years, where it was, I imagine, a little bit like beer, maybe even more so, like super male dominated.
Right.
But almost in a way like out of a combination of like history and happenstance. But it was a community that didn't care and didn't make an issue of it when a woman was making cigars. And if anything, like, it was... I don't even want to say that it was celebrated, because it was a community that was so about the cigars in a way that as an outsider, I perceive the beer world as being very much about the beer. I don't know if that makes sense, but like...
No, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Listen, and I love the fact that, like, I'm able to be a role model to my daughter in the sense of, listen, this job typically may not be for a woman, but a woman can do it, you know? And that's big for me because my mom was also in a room full of men when she was working. She retired almost 2 years ago now. But it was a very male-dominated industry for her as well. And she was a G, man. She closed deals that other people couldn't close, and she did things that other people couldn't do and negotiated certain contracts and stuff like that. And to me, that's, my mom is my biggest role model. She's a badass.
Yeah, I mean, like my grandmother, even now at like almost 90, she like sits like, tell me about the business.
Yeah.
Tell me about what's happening.
That's
Let me tell you what I
awesome.
think's wrong.
Que Dios la bendiga,
She still
man.
does that. And, I saw her work till 85 or 84. And she just liked to work. And, like that like my grandfather retired and stopped working way before my grandma
Right.
did. And it's that work ethic, that thought process, that thing, it all came from her.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you say like a woman can do this, a human can do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the
Yeah.
fucking gender,
Yeah.
man. It doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter the color. A human can do this. It's just this whole like this weird thought process. Like, well, she's a woman. Who gives a fuck? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like, we can do this. You're about it. You want to put in the work. You want to do. I don't care.
Whatever.
All those other things don't matter to me.
Yeah, that's...
It's very like
Yeah.
low on the totem pole. You care, you give a fuck, you work hard, period.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting for me to hear that. And I don't know much about the beer industry, so I don't want to like make a presumption, but it's interesting hearing that there has been so much support for you in your industry, which is great to hear. And I mean, Wakefield is known as, again, I don't know much, but the best brewery in Miami.
Well, thank you.
Easily.
I won't say that myself.
I mean, they brewed a great beer last year. It's called Waparia Full Time.
Guaperia.
That's a great name, too.
Guaperia full
Who came-
time.
who
Full
came-
time.
who
You
came-
have to say it full time.
Who came up with that name? It wasn't me. It was somebody
It was
else.
Reyes. It was Alex Reyes.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
He was our sales guy. He works at Three Sons now.
Oh, King of Alapata.
Yes.
Yes.
See,
King of
you know
Alabama.
his Instagram
Yeah.
name.
No, I guess because he's a character too. That guy is pretty amazing. King of Alapata. Like, that name is amazing.
But yeah, but then, see, I feel like then we go ass backwards, right? Because I was at a fest once pouring, and this guy walks up and he's like, "Hey, can you get the brewer to come here? Because I want him to explain this beer to me." And I was like, "Well, I'm the brewer." He's like, "You are?" "Yeah, man. I'm the brewer."
I brew shit, dog.
Just the other day, I'm driving the forklift, and this guy's like, "Can you get a man to help me out?" I'm like, "I can help you. Do you not see me driving this forklift and loading up your truck? Like, why? Why does your mind work like that?"
It's a very old thought process. It's like a very weird thing. It's like, and in the Hispanic culture, we encounter it a lot. We really do.
Women birth humans.
God bless you guys. I say
want no part of that.
I say it all the time. Like, I want zero part of that. Like, the incredible things that women do. Like, I could not even fathom. Like, men have it so fucking easy, and I'm super okay with that. Me personally.
I know.
I'm just saying, like, it's crazy that there's like a discrepancy. Like, you guys should be like, thank you, fuck, like, you guys are great. I thank you so much,
Yeah.
because if not, we wouldn't fucking be here. So,
It's wild.
but I do see it a lot in our culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the Hispanic culture a lot is like, oye mami, esto y lo otro, papá. It's just like, shut
Which,
the
if you want to
fuck up.
comment, okay, oye mami, qué buena cerveza que hiciste.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
It's
dame
the
un
follow-up.
piropo, but like, give me props.
That means, what a nice beer you made.
Oh my god.
I gotta keep plugging away to Salina, Kansas, man. That's our biggest following right
Welcome to Español Sin Barrera with Michael Beltrán.
So-
I remember those commercials.
now. Oh man, crazy.
Yeah.
So
but-
what's next? What are the plans? There's got to be plans. Everything's a plan. In our industry, everything is a plan.
Yeah. There's a plan. There's a plan.
Oh, you don't want
coming.
to share it? Hot button issue. Beep! Plans.
No.
Beep!
I mean, it's being discussed, but I don't have anything concrete. You have to bring on John as a guest in order to find out about the plans.
John's not like a big talker, though, man.
Oh, yeah, he is. You give him a few old fashions or whatever, he'll talk.
Heard. Coming soon. Senor Wakefield himself. We're just going to keep on doing the Spanglish thing.
Juan Wakefield.
Juan Wakefield himself will be here as soon as Nick can get him.
Wakefield. That's what people say. Oye, tú trabajas en J. Wakefield. I'm like, wow, this is so Miami.
That's the only thing I'll ever call it from
Yeah.
now on.
Wakefield.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Yeah.
such a Miami thing there.
Yeah, super Miami.
In North Carolina, you don't get that.
No.
No. No.
No, they call me Caber.
Caber.
Caber. Not Cabré.
Oh.
Caber.
Oh, Caber.
And I'm like, okay, that's not my last name, but sure.
Well, my coach in college used to call me the Beltrain.
Beltrain.
Yeah. Senor Mike Beltrain.
Oh,
Choo choo. That's how. Don Donovan was my D-line coach's name.
Don Donovan.
Yeah, it's very white.
What
It's
position
good.
did you play?
I played D-line.
I don't know why I heard you say O-line.
Never aggressive, passionate. That's a D-lineman.
Aggressive, passionate.
That's a D-lineman if I've ever heard one. So, you don't want to talk about what's next? You got to talk about something. What's
No,
next?
man.
I mean, come on.
Listen, our plans were put on pause, and just the state of craft beer, I'm trying to see what's happening,
Well, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Share with us your thoughts here on craft
So
beer.
We used to go from a culture, at least for us, of people waiting in line overnight to buy our bottles that we were releasing on a Saturday.
I remember
I'd
that.
show up at 7 a.m. And there was a line of people with their lawn chairs and stuff, and they had been drinking all night. You know?
It's like shoes.
Correct. Whereas now, people aren't really doing that. Obviously, COVID hit, yes.
Yeah.
But even before that, we saw it like kind of dwindle down.
Yeah, people are still buying shoes though.
People are crushing lagers.
Okay.
So crisp, clean beers. Nothing like pastry stouts.
You know what that makes me think of? Sorry
What?
to cut you off. Is that people are drinking heavily to forget. That's the way I think about it.
I see it as people are going back to like the simple, basic, and
I don't know
if you can execute, like, let's say roasted chicken, a really good
Oh,
roasted chicken.
fuck. Talk dirty to me. I love that.
How hard is it to find someone that can execute a really good roasted chicken?
Ariat is open 7 days a week from 6 to 11 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
and we
you
have
know what
a
I
wonderful chicken for 2 now available.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. No, I absolutely know what you mean. I mean, a good roasted chicken. Listen, I don't agree with David Chang on much, but he said...
Neither do I.
He said something I
It drives
agree
me
with
fucking crazy.
in, like, a lot, which was you can judge a restaurant on the bathroom and the chicken.
I say the bathroom always. I walk into a bathroom and if it looks like shit, I'm like, God damn it.
No. There's a bunch of patas sucias in there. You don't want any part of that.
Full.
Yeah. No, the chicken, though.
Full is like saying gross.
Yeah. For our Salina, Kansas. We're going to have like a whole like dictionary for
Yeah.
Salina, Kansas about this podcast.
I remember, I forget where I came across it, but there's this Puerto Rican PSA.
coño.
Oh, coño is one we won't translate for you.
I mean, shit.
Kind of.
Oh my
There's
God,
this
I moved the
there's
whole
this
bar.
this Puerto Rican PSA that I forget where I came across it, but the idea was like trying to encourage kids to stay in school.
Full.
So they're like all these high school kids are at a party, and this girl thinks that this guy's really cute, and she tells her friend, and her friend tells her that he had dropped out of high school, and she goes, "Fuck, que nasty."
Que nasty. Oh, I
Que
love that. That's so boricua. I love going back to Puerto Rico because I hear the slang.
Can I say I've never been to Puerto Rico?
Oh, you have to go.
Yeah.
You have to go.
I am very good friends with José Mendín, which is probably the most Puerto Rican person I've ever met.
Yes.
And he just, Mikey, we're gonna go to Puerto Rico. We're gonna cook. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna drink.
Oh, this is a good one.
You know, this is Jose's favorite movie. He sits back like this, and he goes like this. Puerto Rico, you, me. It's gonna be good.
It's a great time. It's a great time.
Yeah, just like this.
It's a great time. The people are, I mean, listen. It is the slowest meal you'll have in your life. It's an island.
I already have anxiety hearing that statement.
Very slow.
I have
Wait.
so much anxiety right
but
now
you
thinking
have
about that.
to
I know, but
relax
it's the
it,
relaxed
you
part. I'm not
know?
good at the relaxing
I know.
part.
Trust me. I know. I'm
Yeah.
a ball of anxiety.
Just
Driving
like,
here, I was like, oh
let's-
my God, what am I driving to right now?
What do you mean? This is
Nicolas Jimenez.
Nicolas. Yeah, he gives people anxiety, doesn't he?
No, he's very, no,
Nick? He's very structured.
no, he's very good. Good for you, Nick.
Yeah. He's like
And he
regimented. The
little
dog,
guy.
the real star of the show, Petey the dog.
Petey the dog.
All right, so you don't want to talk about what's next. That's fine. I'm gonna accept it.
Listen, we're making sure to solidify who we are.
Man, that's such a like broad but vague statement.
Yes. The
Solidify
broad and
who
vague
we
are
are.
pretty the same.
Who are you?
Broad and bold statement. We're J Wakefield Brewing, and we're always pushing boundaries.
That's for sure. I mean,
You never know what you're gonna get.
yeah. You know, I'm not a big beer person, but I love sours. Drink a lot of sours.
Well,
What are your favorite sours?
so one of the first sours that I ever tried of John's was a tamarindo sour, and oh
that
my
sounds
God,
so good. Is that not available?
no, but
Can we make that?
I mean,
available?
Ariette and Taurus or whatever, they should all have the tamarindo
I got
sour.
6 taps
That's
coming online
tamarind.
in the next year. Yeah, tamarind.
For Kansas.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It's sweet.
I just
it's
want-
tart. It like
I just
right
want to.
here.
I want to drink that with the foie gras that we serve with
Ah,
the sour
qué rico.
orange. That's good. That's
Yummy.
good. What else? Another sour that you enjoy?
I love Miami Madness. That's the mango passion fruit guava beer. I think it's stellar. It kind of really shows all the different fruit.
We definitely don't need more water.
You guys are good?
I need another cube, though. You want to take it and just drop a cube in it? She's done. You
I'm
don't
good.
wanna-
No, I'm good. I gotta try to West Kendall after.
I'm just listen. I'm a host. That's all
I
I'm
know.
doing.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm doing what I can here.
What were we talking about? Oh, sours.
Sours.
So I'm doing a cherry limeade one
Ooh.
coming soon.
What are you gonna call it?
Well, it's gonna be reminiscent on AC's Ices.
Careful. Trademark infringement.
I said reminiscent. I didn't
Yeah.
say him.
Yeah, no. He's very sensitive about his
Is
stuff.
he?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Hot button issue. Boop.
No, the label's not done yet. So,
Yeah, careful. I mean, listen. The guy's a legend. He's
He's
been
a
there for.
dude,
I don't know, but he lives in like a gigantic house here in the Grove.
since like the 70s, right? He's
Yeah.
been there?
That's 70s were a different time.
Anyway, cherry limeade. So I'll use sour cherries. I'll use key lime, which should be really nice.
Yeah, Chef Liz.
Hello, Chef Liz.
I want to play peekaboo.
Yeah.
I see you.
Chef Liz, Chef Jonathan, everyone's coming through making
Chef
ruckus.
Jonathan. Hi.
Elements involved.
Good. He's safe.
He has a monster truck of a bike. Go ahead and wheel it out here, Chef. It's a
And
monster
lights.
truck.
Not criticizing you else.
I'm not criticizing. I can't ride a
Do you have that
bike.
shirt? Do you have that shirt?
You can't ride a bike.
I just made 300 more of them, so I'll let you know.
Please.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, this
I
is
thought
our-
you had another
this
shirt.
is our hello.
That he was gonna be like,
Sorry,
"Oh."
hello. Bye, Chef. Yep.
Wow. Do you have to edit all of this out?
No,
No,
all
you're
that
leaving it
stays.
in. Wow.
This is a shit show of a show. You have no idea.
So cherry limeade. What else did we do? Oh, we did a goza. So it's a sour, but it has salt, right?
I like that.
Saltier.
Yeah.
Pushes out all the other fruit. It had peaches and guava.
Peach and guava. Interesting pairing.
So good.
Huh. I just never put them together because they don't really grow here.
Yeah, but we get purees, or we've gotten Masumoto peaches from California.
Well, peaches grow northern Florida, kind of
Ish,
Georgia.
yeah.
More like that. So,
Yeah.
I've done peach salads and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
super short term
Yeah.
for us here. But you guys have a sour that you sell a lot?
So we have our base sour is Stush.
Yeah.
So that has no fruit, but the
Thank you, Chef.
lactobacillus, which is what lactobacillus is what sours our beer, and yogurt, if you guys haven't thought about it that way.
This is the
Bacteria.
moment that we explain what lactobacillus means.
It's bacteria.
All right. Yum! I love that.
Anyway, so that's our base beer, and it's got really nice kind of citrus notes on it, very lemony from the lactobacillus. But the one that we sell that you would say is an annual drop, it's a one-time drop, is DFPF, which is Dragon Fruit Passion Fruit, and Miami Madness, and Cuvée de Wakefield. So Cuvée is DFPF, had a baby with Miami Madness.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
it's dragon fruit, passion fruit, mango, guava.
For a beer drinker, is sours like a bad thing or no?
No, just some people don't drink sours. To me, it's reminiscent on sour gummies, and I love sour candy.
Sour Patch Kids. This
Or
is not an ad for Sour Patch Kids.
No, but
They have not paid for
Albanese-
this.
Albanese?
Ads at dademag.com.
Albanese, if you want to sponsor me, I buy a lot of your bags at Publix.
Albanese?
Albanese, they're a white bag, and they have the little different colored gummies. Look for
never-
the one that says
never even
sour.
seen
It
'em.
is the best sour gummy bears you've ever had in your life.
I swear to God, if you come on our podcast and get a sponsor before we do, I'll be furious.
Why? What if I get you a sponsor?
Oh, that's great.
I'm all
That works.
about it.
I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
wear a lot of Carhartt.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get sponsored by Casio forever, but they're like, why do you want to sponsor for a $16 watch? I'm like, it's just the point. And Stetson. Yeah, it's Stetson. So, if you...
Let's go walk through the whole thing.
I know, Liz. Come on. Liz has worked with me for like a decade.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, your dream scenario of a beer, has it happened?
So the collaborations that we've done, some of them have been like I remember the first time I went to Trillium in Boston, which is another brewery, and to me they were like, they're wonderful people, and they make great beer, and just going to that facility was a dream come true for me, and to like stand at their kettle and mash in it was dope as hell. It was like,
That's cool.
wow, so cool. So there's certain moments like that in my career. I've been there, it'll be 7 years in December.
Congrats.
I'm the OG employee.
Look at that.
Yeah. Stuff like that is really cool. And then when we do, like, we've done collaborations with, like, DJ Williams and Brett Romberg from University of
Brett,
Miami.
former Pancom podcast guest, Brett Romberg.
Yeah, there you go.
Brett is the best.
He's pretty funny. Yeah.
He is that guy is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cool stuff like that. And as a Miami girl.
Well, John's like a big UM fan.
Yeah.
Like, through
Well, he's
and
a big
through.
sports fan.
Yeah.
He played football.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
O-line.
He played O-line? Yeah, he's definitely an O-lineman. Strikes me as an O-lineman.
6'5". He's probably, I don't know, when he was
Whatever.
playing
I'm
football,
like
he was-
5'0". And I play D-line. It's like, it doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
You heard it here first, everyone. Size does not matter.
Just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Great line. I'm
But-
just agreeing with you.
But stuff like that as a Miami girl that we've been able to do, we had a beautiful beer dinner in the wine cellar of the Forge.
Oh, yeah?
It was dope. Experiences like that for me have been, you can't, there's no value on that.
Yeah, I mean, there are life experiences that you will carry forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, when we did a dinner at Cypress with Michael Anthony from Gramercy Tavern, the food was great, but it was more like Michael Anthony, the person.
Yeah.
Like, and I've asked, like, was this like a facade? Like, he was such a genuine, like, kind-hearted soul of a person. And I've talked to people that have worked with him in the past, and they're just like, no, that's just the way he is. And
Yeah.
like, that's amazing to
Yeah.
me. Like, just to be able to run that kitchen the way that it ran and do those things,
Yeah.
what they did there and what they continue to do there, and be that way, to me, like, left an imprint forever.
I feel that way about Danny Meyer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because he...
Danny Meyer, he gets mentioned on here a lot. One day, Nick will get him on the podcast.
Well,
Danny Meyer, if you're out there, I love your burgers. I love what you do.
his
Come on
book is
down.
awesome.
Yeah, everyone. I mean,
Setting the Table is... I've read that book about 3 times.
I have it like on audiobook, and like whenever I walk to work, it's always something I just play random chapters at random times or whatever, just because, what he talks about is important, especially when it comes to staffing, especially when it comes to like, his progress and how they grew and all those things is very important.
So working at the Modern, it was part of the Union Square Hospitality Group, and he'd come in and like, he wasn't like, oh, PPX, everything had to be super VIP table, nothing. He liked certain dishes, and then for dessert, he always we had this creme fraiche sorbet.
Oh, I like that.
Oh my God, it's delicious. That's all he wanted. And then he'd always come back. He'd say thank you. He was just super nice, humble guy.
I love that. The people that don't do the Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they
I
actually.
Irish goodbye all the time.
I don't. I try to. I used to have a chef that.
Favorite moves.
Yeah, I used to have a chef that Irish goodbye us every day, and I hated it so much because
Really?
we worked so hard.
Oh yeah.
We worked so hard there, and then just like. I get it. It's an extra 30 minutes. For me, it's an extra 30 minutes
Well,
every day.
because you're catching up on
just
what
like,
happened
hey,
throughout the day or whatever the shift.
You good?
Yeah.
Oh no, life sucks. I'm sorry. you need a hug
Yeah.
or whatever, and or it's just buy, dishwasher, chef, cook, whatever.
But it's important.
Yeah, I worry about the day that we get to a place that I can't goodbye everybody.
Yeah.
Is something that I worry about for me mentally, but we'll see how it goes. It's life.
Yeah, man. Not a lot of owners are at their spots. You know what I mean? The fact that you're
I'm aware. I lived a lot of that for a long
here,
time.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
What else do we want to talk about? Nick, are there any current events that
I
we need
didn't
to
get
talk
my
about?
La Carreta story.
Oh my God, that's right. You were born at La Carreta. You were born with the Cuban sandwich.
In a bed of mariquitas at La
Yeah.
Carreta.
So the story goes, mind you, my family moved here. So I have 2 older brothers. They were born in Venezuela. But my mom in February of 83 se devaluó whatever, el Bolívar. And my mom's like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here, So she had a backup plan because her boss had a business here in Miami. So in February of 83, she moved here. And I was born in May of 83. So imagine, my mom was huge.
Right.
So they're sitting in La Carreta on Bird Road in 87. And she's eating una Elena Ruth.
Oh, what a good sandwich.
What a great sandwich.
What a good sandwich.
And dude, she's like, I'm going into labor. I am going into
A La
labor
Carreta.
a La Carreta. And my dad's there with my brothers who were 2 and 5 or 2 and 4. I don't know. I was born at Mercy Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got you to Mercy Hospital.
They got me there.
That's
but
good.
I was born right away.
Look at that. Not in a bed of mariquitas.
But
Not
did
in a
she
bed of
bring the
mariquitas.
sandwich with her?
No,
Oh.
I don't know. I should have asked her.
What
That's a
happened
good-
to the sandwich?
What
On
happened
the
to the
next
sandwich?
Tancom podcast.
What happened to the sandwich? What happened to the sandwich?
But I kind of want to make a sour beer that emulates, except the turkey part, una Elena Ruth. So maybe it'll be like a pastelito de guayaba y queso.
Oh, man.
That would be good, huh?
What a good pastelito that is. Ah.
I prefer guayaba, and I like when they're like thin.
Yeah, super
smashed,
thin. Yeah, not a lot
and,
of
like,
pep.
warm.
Not a lot of pastry.
Ooh.
Have you met Pastelito Papi?
No, I haven't. I've heard a
What?
lot about him.
He's such a legend, that guy.
Does he
He-
make the
he did
thin
very well.
pastelito?
Of course we do.
Yeah.
He did very well on his thing today.
Oh, that's right. He did a live.
He was better there than on this podcast.
You know why? Because he's just like very comfortable with me, so he's just very Geo.
Okay.
Is this one of your more better podcasts?
Oh,
Mo
for
better?
sure.
Is
Mo
this
better?
one of your
This
Mo better
this
podcasts?
is like this is going to be a top tier podcast.
What?
Okay.
This as compared to the
I'm
rest of our
asking
episode.
him.
This is
You
good.
know,
This has
I
been
gotta
very
make
good.
sure I did good
No,
work
you-
here.
you
Good
did-
conversation.
you did
Interesting
good work.
things got said. Bikes
Chef
everywhere.
Jamal! Oh.
How are you?
I love that. I like it. Oh.
Oh.
All right, Chef.
I like that. This is a very eco-friendly place.
What do you mean?
Everyone rides bikes.
Yeah, everyone lives in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, for the most part.
I live like 30 miles away from my job.
Jamal's worked here for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, when you get those good people, like I feel my staff right now, my production guys. My brewer is awesome. He's awesome.
Okay.
You know, my
He's
cellar
awesome.
guys are awesome. You know, we have a really great team. I have a chick in the back that like she wants to be in the back. She wants to learn production. Like it's a really good vibe. And that's nice. And you have to like make sure that the people that are good at what they do and good for the team, that you take care of them so that they stick around.
I think, so, man, you know, like,
I know there's a lot of turnover.
no, it's not that. I think every person needs to be put in their position that they're going to be most successful.
Correct.
Our jobs as like managers and chefs and whatever, like, if there's someone that wants to be here, you need to find where they fit.
Right.
And sometimes people could fit in a role, they could not fit in a role. And if they want to be here, you find the role that they're going to fit in. And that's part of the challenge. You know, like the old kitchen mentality is like, fuck it, if they can't do it, then get the fuck out. And that's just not how it is anymore. You know, like it's not realistic, you know, like if you can't butcher fish and you don't want to butcher fish, then don't butcher fish.
My mind is blown right now because I have Mr. Wendell and Pedro Navaja like married.
Yeah.
And kind of the beat of Mr. Wendell
Oh, yeah,
and Pedro Navaja are
I love
like,
that you noticed that. That's good.
I used to play bass
Yeah.
guitar. I'm a very musical individual.
Look at that. We didn't even talk about you playing bass guitar. When did
Yeah.
that happen? What are you brewing beer and playing bass guitar at the same
middle
time?
school and high school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I didn't really play sports.
No?
No.
It's fine.
I was more on the creative side, so.
Sports can be creative.
Yeah.
I think sports can lead to creativity
Yes.
through structure.
Yes, I think so too. I think it gives you
That's
a
true.
very it helps you build that understanding of how to work with other people
Right.
that you wouldn't necessarily get.
Camaraderie, teamwork.
Yeah.
You know, if I had never played sports, I don't think I would be a good chef at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm also like quite a shit show. So I mean, I'm just
He
speaking.
said it here first, guys. He's quite a shit
Everyone
show.
who's ever listened to this knows. So I mean, it's, you know, the structure that's created through sports. Even now, the reason why I box is because it creates structure for me.
Yeah.
So, night, Liz.
Night.
So, you know, I'm grateful for it. Does it create like the creative gene? You know, like does it spark that? Not really, but it gives me the opportunity to use that.
I feel like it organizes a creative gene, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, before I discovered boxing as like an outlet, I had a hard time for sure. I was just creative all the time.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how to funnel that creativity.
Right.
So, you know, it definitely created structure for me.
Yeah.
It's only 3 years now. 3 years
I'm going
boxing.
to use this as an opportunity to shamelessly plug the what at the moment we're recording this is the most recent episode of Step Into the Sandbox.
Oh, man.
With Marco Leita Vidal of Unseen Creatures,
That's him.
who had
I
some
went to
interesting...
high school with him.
Oh, yeah? How about that?
Look at that.
He had interesting things to say about, in his head, the relationship between music and brewing and making beer.
Yeah.
So you had a brewer on your other show?
Yeah.
Look at that.
You have another show?
He's got other shows. We're
Oh,
not the only show.
Well, this isn't the only
Me
thing I don't
estás
get paid
pegando
to
los
do.
tarros.
Yeah. We're not the only show in town apparently.
This is not the only thing I do at a loss.
Step into the lunchbox is
Step
the
into the
other
lunchbox.
show here.
The Sandbox.
Sandbox.
Come on.
Step into the sandbox.
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of a germaphobe. I don't know if I'd want to step into the sandbox.
me neither, right?
Then
It's not COVID friendly. The sandbox is not COVID friendly.
It's not. It's
Ball
not.
pits are disgusting.
Hot take. That's a hot take. You're a Bunko podcast.
That's good. That'll be the quote we use.
Yeah. Ball pits are gross. You guys are
And
disgusting.
other deep thoughts on the next episode of Banco Podcast.
That's good. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
This was nice. No, I want to go to Nave. I want to eat pasta. I could eat. I think I was Italian in my past life.
Oh yeah.
I feel that way.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's your where? Okay. Couple questions. What is your favorite meal currently
Oh God.
that you don't cook?
I like eating. That's a very hard.
I know.
question for
It's
me.
a tough question. I know. Me too.
It's a very hard question for
Yeah,
me.
me too.
I could always eat, like anytime
Yeah.
that if someone tells me I have this.
Yeah. Your favorite meal?
Listen, you give me artichoke anything.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite vegetable.
Wow.
Well,
Artichokes,
that's
huh?
one of like my favorite
Obvious-
things ever.
Also, the most laborious
I
vegetable.
know, but it's so
ever.
worth it. It's so
Ugh,
worth it.
Gross. Every time someone's like, "Let's put artichokes," I'm like, "Oh." I just remember like peeling like 5 cases of artichokes at a time at Cypress Room, and it just
So
makes me
good.
cringe.
So good.
Oof. Oof.
I love artichoke anything. Carpaccio. I will eat carpaccio any day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a carpaccio at Casa Isola recently. It was very good.
That's Mendin's new spot, right?
Yes. Chef Jose Mendín, a former guest on Pancon Podcast.
So-
and another
Boricua.
Yeah.
My
This guy.
mom knows either his dad or his uncle.
Oh, yeah?
somehow- yeah. It's how small the island is this big.
I was very proud when Jose's mom told me that the pan con lechon that we serve is one of the best sandwiches she's ever had.
Wow.
This is a woman that comes prepared to all meals with salt packets.
No.
Before she even eats the food,
Oh.
she adds salt packets to the food.
So up until I worked in restaurants, I always thought you had to have salt and pepper on a table. You
right
know?
now.
No.
You season.
No.
Season.
Season your food.
Mm-hmm.
Season as you go. Taste as you go.
Yes, chef.
Please.
I mean, that's the way that it works. I know, but people,
No.
seasoning
Yeah, I'm not
101.
talking to you.
No, but 101. It's like people don't listen to 101 things
No.
anymore. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, I could eat. I don't,
You gotta give me
mushrooms. I could eat fucking mushrooms, like in any way.
How about this? Like, what's
What
the?
is he doing?
Who knows? What's
Don't pay attention.
rather than have to like pick the all-time favorite thing? Like, what's the last thing you can remember just kind of blowing your mind that you ate?
Yeah, that was real good.
So my husband is now selling Wagyu beef.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, Shadow Wagyu?
Yes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
No shit.
That's his with Alex Prendez.
Oh man, I just know that Fred posts about that
yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time.
So the Wagyu croquetas are like a big thing, whatever. He made this ropa vieja pot pie, right?
That sounds good.
So with Wagyu, I guess, I don't know, flank steak, I guess he used. But the dough, he took Wagyu fat
Oh,
and he
that's
used
good
that
move. Good move.
as holy moly. Okay.
Holy moly! Wow. Holy moly,
It was-
Batman!
It was because I was like, I'm not really a pot pie kind of person, but like I
Oh, I
ate it
love
and I was
pot
like,
pie.
holy shit, man! Like what the hell? It was super flaky and it melted in your mouth. It was so good.
Sounds like a good time.
I'd love
That
to
and
get
the
into his
oysters that I
Wagyu.
had.
Which oysters?
The one that I had when I was here at Taurus.
Oh yeah, which one did you
After
have?
Ariat. I don't know. I was like, do you have oysters? And you were like,
You
yeah,
guys,
we totally have
you
oysters.
guys were here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were. We had a good time.
That's good. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And it was like torrential downpour also.
I know, man. That's the fucking worst.
Whatever. We were fine. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be opening up their shop on Lejeune, so they won't be far. And he's gonna have, it has a kitchen,
Good for him.
and he's gonna have like a small chef's table. So if people wanna, he'll sell wine and stuff. And if people
That's
wanna
great.
like reserve, table for two, and he'll cook for them, and he cooks really well.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, everyone. Breaking
He
news.
cooks really well. All his friends will tell you.
Shadow Wagyu cooks very well.
Will the shop also have the same name, or yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, all right. All right, Nick, do the things.
You want to do the wind down stuff?
Yeah, let's do the things.
All right, this is where we do our wind down things. You let me know if you want to go first or not. We always start with recommendations. Everybody recommends a thing. It could be anything as.
Very soothing voice.
Do
I
really?
know, but then when you talk to him,
Oh.
you get all kind of anxiety. It's like a soothing voice, but then
Yeah.
it's,
I didn't mean
it's
to interrupt, but
No,
you're
anxiety
so
rating.
like,
yeah, it's very like PBS.
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm the Diane Rehm of Content Podcast.
It's a good radio voice.
yeah, you have a solid face for radio.
Oh, that's the truest thing
John
you've said so
has
far
a good
today.
radio voice too. It's wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go ahead.
So
Recommendations.
everybody recommends a thing as long as it's not yours. It could be absolutely. It could be a book.
You can
movie,
recommend another beer.
a beer that is not yours. Because then
Ooh.
after we'll do our shameless plugs, and there
Right.
you can tell people all about your own stuff,
Right.
where to find you.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and
Can I
hold
recommend
out
a
our
few
favorite-
things?
Oh, yeah,
man.
Oh,
we have
So
nowhere
much
to be.
more because I have no recommendations this week. So
no.
So if you have things in mind, feel free to go first.
Oh.
Or if not, you can give yourself time.
Oh,
by
I actually have-
picking
I
it
have a
off
thing
first.
Well, let
recommend.
me hear you.
Okay. So I'm.
Oh man, this is
I'm. No, I have two. I have two songs to recommend.
okay.
That I've sent to you. I don't know if you've
I have
listened to
not
them.
listened to them. No.
Probably, maybe, probably not. Both of them involve the Cuban rapper Aldos El Aldeano, and one of them also has Silvito El Libre, who is the son of very famous Cuban artist Silvio Rodriguez, who's always been kind of like criticized for not being critical enough of the government, and then his son goes off and becomes like one of the better known dissident rappers. One of them is called Pirámide. That's the one with just Aldo.
Dale que me lo como el salitre. Esto no es un party, vení un party pa' vivir a te. Los líquido con mi lápiz, la vida con rapidez. Quítense o métanse una pirámide. Si los decapité, sobre sus cadáveres caminé. Sus ánimas desanimé, como un animal. Rimándome le carrimé. Y el negocio completo se lo arruiné. Ya, no tengo llave ni me sé un abracadabra hoy. Vine a pasar, no voy a esperar, allá voy. Me tomo en serio el jueguito con las palabras. Ando con el boli siempre erecto, no hacen falta viagras. Quieren que me calle, yo que la vida me vibre. No se traba mi pistola cuando pruebo mi calibre. Si intentas que esclavizarme, voy a luchar por ser libre. Si me llegas pa' la cepa, voy a transformarme en tigre.
And the other one is called Tú me entiendes, by Aldo and Silvito El Libre.
Aquí si no hay chance, yo entro en trance, pierdo la noción. Y todo el que se lance lo desarmo, jorobando un blon. Bomba, niño, bomba, conoce el sello. El estilo que los tiene arrancándose los cabellos. Aquí hay rap para compartirlo con ustedes y con ellos. Venimos a regalar calmantes para el dolor del cuello.
Si no sabes cómo es que se hace, ven, aprende. Joroba y prende, apaga los baffles y el micro enciende. En la cantina de la rima somos los bartenders. Deja que se expresen los que saben.
¿Tú me entiendes?
No me foco y deja que se expresen los que saben.
¿Tú me entiendes?
No me foco y deja que se expresen los que saben.
¿Tú me entiendes?
Those are my two recommendations. And then also, because earlier we were talking about how nice it can be to have been born a dude, I am recommending, this is not really new, but White Dude by Lil Dicky. Which is...
Oh, that's a song.
It's a song. It's a song called White Dude by Lil Dicky. Are you familiar with Lil Dicky?
I am.
Yeah.
Oh
so
man,
it's,
Lil Dicky's
the
awesome.
first verse
He's
is
pretty funny.
Yeah, the first verse is all like a funny take of how lucky it is that he was born white, and the second one is about having been born a guy, and it is hilarious. It's all kinds of funny. So,
All right.
Mike, you had recommendations?
I yesterday had ramen at Ichimi. This
Is that the
place-
one in Coral Gables?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I very much liked it.
It was good.
Yeah, I went in with very low expectations, and I was very happy. Food was good. Service was fine, and I'll go back.
What kind of food is this for the people who are maybe would consider?
Yeah, they do like, they do ramen. They had like 8 different variations of ramen. They had 8 different variations of like rice bowls. And then they had a couple of apps, which they didn't have some that I really wanted, like the oyster omelet.
What's the name of the place?
Ichimi.
Oh, I thought you said El Chimi. I thought it was Dominican.
No, el Chimi el Tigre is what
That's
you're
right.
thinking
I'm
of.
thinking of well,
No,
there's many
Ichimi.
Chimis. But yeah,
Ichimi.
Ichimi. Got it.
Yeah, so I would recommend going there. It's in Coral Gables, Miami, Florida. So for our Salina, Kansas people, you will not be able to visit unless you come to Miami. Don't come during spring break. That's all I'm telling you.
Please don't.
Please don't. Yeah, that's my
Cool.
recommendation.
All right.
I've also, over the last like 6 days of my life, tried to consume all of Justice League.
Snyder Cut,
Yeah, and it's just like, it's so long. It's good, but it's so long.
like 4 hours, right?
4 hours and 15 minutes. And you know, honestly, like former Pancom podcast guest, Danny Surfer, had
What a pro.
had a Facebook post. He's like, I'll say it in Danny's voice. Is like, Justice League, greater than what's the other one? The Avengers one? Avengers Endgame
Oh, he said it was better than Endgame and Infinity War.
Wow.
and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Don't at me or whatever.
The Snyder
Yeah.
Cut
Yeah,
was better? Is
Yeah.
that what he's saying?
that's what he's saying. So far,
I don't know.
I do see it better as Endgame.
I don't know. Can you ask Danny to bring back vinaigrette subs? Because I really miss those subs.
I know, me too. I do miss them too. Danny, you heard it here first. Vinaigrette subs are wanted and needed in the city of Miami.
Danny Surfer.
Put down your yo-yo and get to wrapping some subs, sir.
They're good.
Get back to it. We need the vinaigrette.
Or at least more yo-yo videos. I'd settle for that.
I don't know. I'd go for a vinaigrette sub. Yeah. I mean, the yo-yo videos are good content. That's the content the world needs.
I
more
like
so than
subs.
Yeah, but vinaigrette subs were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any recommendations, Maria?
I'm going to plug Matsuri. Matsuri on 57th and Bird.
Man. Yeah, I've been thinking about going there for a long time now.
Spot.
I haven't been in like over 2 years.
That is the spot to get your sushi. Masa is awesome. He's always standing at the front corner when you walk in. Food's always good. The quality's I've never had a bad experience there. I mean, but I could say that about Hillstone too. So, but
they tell you to take your hat off.
Yeah.
Did I ever unpack that on here?
I don't think you did.
Oh. All right.
We got a story.
Woo! I got a story to tell. No, like I go to Houston's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I must have gone there like 2 months ago. It was the last time I went. And they have this really dumb fucking rule that guys can't wear a hat in the dining room. And I look at the hostess and I go, what? There's people in leggings, T-shirts. You're going to ask me to take my hat off?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, that's our rule. I go, well, that's a dumb fucking rule. And like I hated being this person. But at the same time, I was like, in today's world that it's all like everything is everything, this does not make any sense to me. So I said, can I speak to a manager? And I didn't know that the manager had like ties to me. And so he came and I asked him, I said, so you can't wear any hats in the dining room? And he said, no, ladies can wear a hat. And I don't understand. So I can't wear my hat, but she over there on the other side, she can wear her hat? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, do you see how that's so fundamentally stupid? It doesn't make any fucking sense. What am I, a gang member because I'm wearing a fucking dad hat that says Sushi Naz on it? Like, give me a fucking break. And then I felt terrible because the manager is a friend of mine's little brother, and he's like a very good kid and very hardworking. And I felt like shit after, but I also felt like that's so fucking stupid. It's so archaic. Like, you got a bunch of fucking boppies sitting around with their fucking shirt halfway unbuttoned with like gold out, but it's
chest hairs sticking out.
It's not okay for me to wear a fucking hat in the dining room. Like, and I told him, I said, I hate to break it to you, but you're not a fine dining restaurant, my guy. Like, this is just a restaurant that serves solid food, that's efficient, fast, and consistent.
Right, and the service is good, and you're paying for the whole...
The service is okay. The service is robotic and...
Right, you constantly have someone going, water? Yeah.
Yeah, spicy mayo.
This way. Watch your step.
Watch your mayo. Step. Do you want ketchup and spicy mayo? Like, it's not like... It's not convivial service. It's not like... I don't feel like I'm liked when I'm there. It's just solid service.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand why these are all these things, and I have to take my hat off. It's stupid. I actually haven't been back since that happened.
But also, you've left out, how did he say he knew you?
Oh, God. I knew he was going to mention that. So, he says, Chef, I know who you are. You can keep your hat on. Listen, I listen to the podcast every week.
Oh, my God. No way.
It's not a big deal. And I go, oh, I feel like such trash right now. I feel like such fucking trash. Podcast. I'm so sorry for being this person. But someone's got to let these people, like, these are dumb old dots that they need to get rid of.
Rules,
it's just stupid. So, yes, that's the whole experience. Thanks, Nick, for reminding me about how I felt even dumber.
I'll remind you of a great experience, though. I went to Itamay.
Nandong Val.
3 weeks ago. I took my parents and a really good friend of my mom's. And, wow.
Wow, I know.
You guys are making incredible food. The flavors that are coming out of that place, like, holy moly. So good. So good. I have no words. And then they had this wine that my dad picked. They only had one bottle. So when he went to order a second one, they were like, we don't have any more. And my dad's like, ¿Cómo que no vas a tener otra botella de este mismo vino? I'm like, Papi, you bought the last bottle.
Yeah.
It was weird. My dad's kind of old school like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small place.
And he goes, Niño. Like, he calls the servers. And I'm like, oh, God, Dad, why?
Yeah.
He's 80.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Georgia. So, all right, those are all the recommendations.
Yeah.
Nick.
Now we're going to shamelessly plug.
Shameless plug time.
Go to J. Wakefield.
That's not how you say that. No,
120 Northwest 24th Street, Miami, Florida,
you're
33127.
pronouncing it wrong. It's Wakefield.
Yeah, it's true. Wakefield.
We have really cool murals. We have even better beer. The vibe is really, really cool. Just come. Just come.
I've been there.
We make dope beer.
I've been there.
Shameless plugs.
All the things.
All the things.
Yep.
All the things.
All the things. I still got to recommend all my shit. I mean, we've done this 80
do what
times
you want.
already.
You do what you
It's whatever. Yeah, all the things. All the things.
No, but who knows? Maybe
How
people
many more
are
plugs
maybe
do we
people
need?
are coming here for the first time. But you know what? Fuck you.
All the things.
All the things. At this point, just all the things.
And finally, you can find Pan Con Podcast at dademag.com/PanConPodcast. We're on all the social media things at Pan Con Podcast. If you want to support what we're doing, maybe get a mug or some other thing, patreon.com/DADEMAG, DADEMAG. And now that's all the things. And
I think instead of it being like at dademag.com/PanConPodcast, it should be at dademag.com/balltickler.
at dademag.com/balltickler.
Yeah, that should be the website
Yeah, that's not
to
how
get
the
to the
internet works.
You might get
No?
flagged.
You think so?
Yeah.
No. I mean,
Inappropriate content?
no, we own the website. We can have a ball tickler page.
I think you should have Balltickler page.
It's just a photo of that thing.
Just with me like this.
That's Nick's About Me page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be me like this and then just audio of Maria saying what a
I've been
soothing
really
voice I
trying
have.
for months to get Nick to start a Petey the Dog OnlyFans, and he
Yeah,
won't
that's
do
true.
it.
No, I haven't.
like-
I want to really do it right. You know, I want to give it the time it deserves.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah, look at
Such
that
a legend, this guy.
sexy beast over there.
I
So
know.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. This was fun.
Well, do you want to do Patreon only things? A little lightning round.
Yeah. Bam, bam, bam.
All right. So thank you, Maria, because the thing is that now we do like a little lightning round
Five
thing
lightning round
for people who are
questions.
paying. But so the people who aren't paying can hear us
People
say
pay for
thank
this?
you. There are people. There are
I am
people who
shocked.
pay for this.
I am still shocked that
There are
people pay
people
to
who
hear
pay.
this shit
That's
happen.
amazing.
No, wait till you hear what they're paying for in this lightning round.
I know,
Oh,
it's
okay,
crazy.
great.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.